Hello and welcome to this video on Bodhicaryavatara, chapter 7, verse 5. As usual, I will read the Sanskrit text twice, slowly first, and then we'll analyze it. Let me just get out of shared screen. Right. Swayutyan maryamanas twang krame naiva na pashyasi tatapi nidram yasyeva chandala mahisho yata. And again, swayutyan maryamanas twang krame naiva na pashyasi tatapi nidram yasyeva chandala mahisho yata. Now I will bring the text for you to share. No, I'll bring my iPad screen for you to share. And there we are. So there's no explicit subject to this sentence. It's in the verb at the end of the first line. So pashyasi. Pashyasi means you see. Sorry, there is an explicit verb. There's the twam there. It doesn't have to be there, but it is. Twam na pashyasi. You do not see. And it's put here. It's not made explicit. Is it a question or is it a statement? It could be either. It could be one of these urgent rhetorical questions. Can't you see? Or it could be just a statement. You do not see. Something's happening, but you do not see it. It's not explicitly marked as either a statement or a question. So just hold in your minds that it could be either. I said that the explicit subject twam didn't need to be there. That what I meant by that was twam means you, singular, and the verb pashyasi, the ending asi shows that it's a second person singular, so that shows that it's a you. So the twam the additional twam can be put there either for emphasis or style. It doesn't actually linguistically need to be there to convey the meaning. And twam na pashyasi, you do not see. And as we've said, there's no explicit question indicator, so it could be a statement or a question. So I've just realized I've forgotten to go through the declension markers with you. I'll do that right now. That's in the second box. You should all have this text with you. I'll call it up on the screen. There we are. Here we are. So swayutyan M2P, that is the masculine. 2 means it's in the accusative. And P plural, so it's the masculine accusative plural. That's the ending in an rather than ah, because we know for the nouns ending in a short a, the masculine plural nominative is in ah, and the masculine accusative plural becomes an. So swayutyan, maryamanam. This is also a masculine accusative plural. Though you will see at the end of maryamanam, there's an S has crept in. That is because after a word ending in an N, if the following word starts with a T, then euphonically there is an inserted S. That is why you see here not Maryamanan twam, tvam, sorry, but Maryamanans tvam. This additional S does not have a grammatical function at all. If the word was standing on its own, it would just end in an an, Maryamanan, in the same way as Swayutyan just ends in a straight long R, N, an. The next one, tvam, meaning you, marked MFN 1S, that means it's a non-gendered pronoun, as for the first and second always are, so it could be masculine, feminine, or neuter, you, 1S, that is nominative singular. Kramena, masculine noun, krama is a step, 3 is in the instrumental singular, kramena. And kramena eva, of course, becomes kramenaiva by sandhi, but the eva is a separate indeclinable word. And na, not indeclinable. Pashyasi, that's the second singular active, that's you singular. Pash active see, PRE for present, so you do not see. In the second line, tata and api, thus indeed, or even so, even like that. Tata and api both interclinables, and they merge by sandhi to tatapi. Nidram, F2S, that's a feminine accusative singular of a noun ending, a feminine noun ending in a long A. It's in the accusative because it's followed by yasi, which is a verb of motion. It means you go. To sa, second person singular active. I forgot to put after that PRE that I'll put in right now. It's in the present tense. Let me just read. Yeah. Chandala Mahishuyata. Here again we have a compound. It's M1S, that's the masculine nominative singular, Mahisho. But because it's a compound, the first element of the compound, which is Chandala, does not decline, so that's in its stem form, Chandala, and it's only the final element, Mahisho, that takes its grammatical ending. Here the O to indicate that it's a masculine nominative singular, and of course the ah, it would be ah on its own, Mahisha, but it becomes Mahisho because it's followed by a voiced consonant, yata. And yata, of course, is an indeclinable, meaning as. It correlates with tata, yata, tata. Let us now go back to the analysis of the sentence. We've done a bit of it. So, tvam napashyasi, you do not see, or do you not see. Swayutyan. Now, if you look at the notes in the last box in the text, is an old root. It's actually quite rare. I don't think I've seen it in use apart from in this one word, you, meaning to join, get together. It's cognate probably from very ancient times with the root yuj, which makes its verbal noun yoga. We all know that means to join, the yuj. So from that, we get a noun which actually lengthens the u there from yuta, which is a band, a collection, a joining, and it's the word that's used for a flock or a herd, as of animals. And Sanskrit often makes relative nouns, that's nouns relating to the basic noun, by changing the a to ya. So just as, for example, Veda, the Vedas, and particularly in this context I'm talking about the Ayurveda, literally life science, knowledge of life in Indian medicine. Change the a to ya and you can get the word Vedya. The word Vedya is used for a doctor, specifically an Ayurvedic doctor. He is the Vedya. It was the person who practices Veda or Ayurveda is a Vedya. Similarly, a yuta is a herd, and a member of a herd, you do the same, becomes a yutya. Swa as a prefix means sorry. I've forgotten to share my iPad screen. Here we are. Hopefully, you haven't missed too much. I was telling you about where the cursor is now. The which is the nominative singular plural ending masculine nouns, coming an in the plural. And sorry, I did forget to show you this, where the an joins the following t. We do that and do it for you again. Where any word ending in an n, not just these masculine accusative, any word ending in an n, if the following word begins with the t, an s will get inserted. So it's not Mariamanantwam, but Mariamananstwam. And to emphasize, this has no grammatical effect. It's not a grammatical word. It's a purely phonetic insertion that doesn't alter the meaning of the grammar. And I was just explaining, sorry I didn't show you what I was doing, the root yu cognate with the much more common yuj and yoga, and from yu we get yuta, the herd, and yutya, just as from Veda we get Vedya. So back to where we were. So swa, as you know, swa. So swa as a prefix means one's own. It's cognate with our word self, actually. So swa, one's own. So swayuta means one's own herd, but swayutya, swayutya means a member of one's own flock or one's own herd. That's swayutya. So napashyasi, you do not see, or do you not see, swayutyan, accusative plural, do you not see the members of your own herd, your own fellow herd members, Mariamanan. Now we know the root mri, meaning to die. And we know from things we get like Mara, the bringer of death, the causer of death. Now, the present tense, mriate, he, she, it, dies. But like many verbal roots, you make a causative form by doing vriddhi, that's the full strengthening of the root vowel, making ayati. So, for example, just as you have from the bhu to be, bhavati, it is strengthen that first, the root vowel, and becomes bhavayati, literally to cause to be, to bring into being. And then predominantly in Buddhist usage, bhavayati means to practice, develop something, mainly developing your good qualities, developing meditation, developing yoga, and that kind of thing, bhavayati. On that same model, mri, you get marayati, so mri, mriyate, and causative marayati. So that means to cause to die, to put somebody to death. Marayati. The passive, the present passive participle of that means being put to death as an adjective. You make it like this. So you take the marayati, marayati, and the present participle is Maria Mana. Maria Mana. This without the ya, the ending mana, is a common present passive participle ending. And there is a dot under the N, Maria Marna, because of the r preceding in the same word, without the interposition of the stop consonants. I'll deal with that in greater detail when we study formal grammar. Just for the moment, accept that it's the same word. It's just by phonetics the n sometimes becomes a n, particularly after a preceding r or sh. So Mariamana therefore means being killed, in the process of being put to death. And it's in this text, ends in an an, to agree with swayutyan, accusative plural. So do you not see, swayutyan, your fellow herd members, Mariamanan, being put to death? Kramenaiva, even literally by the step. So krama is a step, and it's from the root, a very common word, kram, the root kram. Kramati, atikramati, to step over. Nishkramati, to leave, literally to step out. Krama is a step. And idiomatically, kramena literally means by the step, instrumental, singular. Note here the n become the dental n becomes retroflex n, because there's r here, and the intervening m does not block the n becoming a cerebral or retroflex. So kramena literally by the step, but idiomatically it means just one by one. I mean, the imagery is that all they're in a neat orderly queue, and one steps forward, another steps forward, a neat orderly queue going forward one by one. That's the image here. So even step by step. So they're being killed, they're being put to death. But even so, kramenaiva, even so, they are going kramena in an orderly queue, marching in, or gently walking in to their death. So tatapi nidram yasyeva chandala mahishoyata. So if you do something exactly like something else, the normal way in Pali and Sanskrit, often inverted as here, but the standard normal way in ordinary prose is to put the yata first. So yata, tata, or tatapi. Tata plus api becomes tata, tatapi. So in normal prose, so yata means as, tata in that manner. Just as A happens, so exactly the same way does B happen. It would have been more normal, certainly in ordinary prose, to say, I will rephrase now this sentence. So, yata chandala mahisho. like the butcher's buffalo. Tata nidram yasi, in that same way. Just like a butcher's buffalo, yata chandala mahisho, tata nidram yasi. Just like that, you go to sleep. It's inverted here without any change in meaning. It's just the poetic balance. So Chandala, within the Hindu caste system, it's a butcher, but it's often used, if not specifically butcher, but sometimes used just to mean a person of the lowest caste. So Chandala Mahisha, literally a butcher's buffalo, so a buffalo at the butcher to be slaughtered. And I've mentioned in my notes the imagery here is the lamb to the slaughter, the unsuspecting lamb not knowing what's about to happen to it. So it's that same imagery is just like these unsuspecting buffaloes lining up in an orderly queue to be slaughtered one by one. Just in the same way, you can't see what's happening, and you even go to sleep, just like the butcher's buffalo does. Now, looking at a couple of the other items I want to do, yasi. Yasi, you go. We know the root e, to go, cognate with Latin ire, and the word ex it, out, and it is just as the third person in Latin, it. So it in Latin actually is eti in Sanskrit. So a development or an alternative form of that same root is ya, with the same meaning, I and ya. So here we have yasi. Yasi eva becomes yasi eva, you even go. Nidram, sleep. Nidram yasi eva, you even go to sleep. Nidra is cognate actually with nidra, the dra root. Look at that, dra. One of the words for to sleep. Cognate with our drow. Drowsy. Latin. Dormire. Dormitory is dra. So nidra, just with the verbal prefix ni, nidra, going into sleep, sleeping. So nidram yasi. Yasi, you go, here treated as a verb of motion. Nidram, therefore that's the accusative, feminine, singular accusative. Nidram yasi, you go to sleep. Nidram yasi eva, you even go to sleep. He's speaking to them in horror. What? You're even falling asleep. Nidram yasyeva. So, Chandala Mahishuyata, just like the butcher's buffalo. Tatapi, in that same way. Nidram yasyeva, you even go to sleep. So, yasi. From ya, by the way, yana means a going. A yana, something which enables you to go, to travel. And by extension, a vehicle. And if it's big, it's maha. So mahayana is the great vehicle. The great vehicle. Mahayana, from our root ya. So to recap, and see if you can, if possible, do this without reference to the written text. I'll do my best to say it all very slowly and clearly. Try to follow it as I say it in Sanskrit. I'll just read it bit by bit and explain. Pashyasi. Pashyasi, you see. Na pashyasi, you do not see or do you not see. Tvam, tvam added for emphasis or just stylistic balance. Tvam na pashyasi, you do not see or do you not see. What na pashyasi, what do you not see? Swayutyan, swayutyan. Do you not see your fellow herd members, the members of your own herd? Na pashyasi swayutyan. What's happening to them? Maryamanan, being put to death. Kramena eva, even, literally kramena eva, which becomes kramena eva by Santi, even by the step. In other words, napashyasi, tuam napashyasi, swayutyan, maryamanan, kramena eva, even forming an orderly queue to go and get slaughtered. Yata, yata, just like Chandala Mahisho, or in the stem form Chandala Mahisha, nominative singular Mahisha, but the ah becomes o before the voiced consonant ya. Chandala Mahisho yata, as does the butcher's buffalo. Tatapi, tata-api, just in that same way. The api could have been left out, just tata would have been perfectly correct and would have given the full meaning, but you can emphasize it. Tatapi, even so, in exactly that way. Tatapi, nidram yasi. Yasi, you go, nidram, to sleep. Tatapi nidram yasi. In that same way, you go to sleep. And further emphasis, almost the horror of seeing what's happening, you even go to sleep. Tatapi nidram yasyeva. That's yasi eva. By Santi becomes yasyeva. The e becomes, the final e of yasi becomes ya before a following consonant that's not itself an e. So what I will do, I will now read this verse to you slowly, twice in Sanskrit, and then we'll wind up this video. And as before, if you can, do your best just to try to follow the spoken word of it rather than the written word. Swayutyan maryamanans tvam kramenaiva napashyasi tatapi nidram yasyeva chandalam mahisho yatha. Swayutyan maryamanans tvam kramenaiva napashyasi tatapi nidram yasyeva chandala mahisho yatha. So one small final thing I've just noticed, oops, it's lost its grid lines again. It keeps doing that for me. It should have nidram. You see this M there? It should be a subdotted M because it's the anuswara. It's the grammatical ending M followed by a consonant. So it should be nidram yasi. Sorry, did I fail to share the screen then? Sorry, here we go. Camera and screen. What I did before, the text that I was originally showing this, explaining this verse to you with, had you see where the grey now nidram, that should be a subdotted M because it's the anuswara, that's the grammatical termination M, or arm in this case. By grammatical termination I mean not part of the root of the word, not an essential part of the word, but a grammatical termination, it should be subdotted. There we are, because of the following year. Oops. Right, there we are. Thank you very much for watching, and this concludes the video on Bodhicaryavatara, chapter 7, verse 5.